Welcome to Sound of Hope News. I'm your host Wei Fang.
I'm Kathy Zhang.
All right. Okay. At this time, the whole nation, maybe even beyond the nation, is zooming in on one stadium. Okay, at this very time, and the people are just holding their breath to find out what would happen to the Maricopa County in Arizona. That's what we will be talking about. Why it's become such a focal point. Why it is relevant. Okay, and then that's the first thing. The second, Xi Jinping, the CCP's head, Xi Jinping made some bold promise and a very solemn commitment talk during the Biden's virtual summit yesterday and the day before. And he also said something in the Asian summit, okay, in the so-called Boao Forum for Asia, and he said something, very, very classic, and I want to share with you what does that classic mean. And we'll have joke today.
Okay.
We didn't have last time, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. First of all, we wanted to acknowledge Beaumont Michaels. Yeah, you got it. The Chinese word for freedom and liberty. 自由.
Freedom. 自由. Yes.
Yes, that's why we are here.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, welcome everyone. I saw more folks coming up, and so hello and to
Hi,
you
Joe.
again.
Hi, Ruth.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Scott. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people just as Scott said, finally the audit. So Maricopa County's last year's election result really has been a focal point during the past few months. Of course, not only the Maricopa County, but this is really what happened there, just back and forth. So it's really like a battle, right? So today, it's just within one day, there's another turn, right?
Yeah, a couple of turns.
So let's talk about that. So first of all, let's just do a very quick review of the whole process. So
before you start, just put things into the context.
Mm-hmm.
Trump won Arizona by 90,000 votes in the 2016, and in the 2020, he lost 10,000. Basically, that's the difference. And why this swing? That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, and Maricopa is the largest county in Arizona, as you know. And in the election in 2016, it's a red county, right? Mm-hmm. So it changed to blue. So in December last year, the state Senate Judiciary Committee, they questioned the Maricopa's election. They doubt there's some things not quite fair or transparent over there. So they issued a subpoena requesting an audit of the county's voting machine software and the votes and the ballots. However, it got resisted by the county supervisor. They actually, they did not want to hand over the voting machines, and subsequently they were sued by both the state senate and the Republican Electoral College. During the court case, under the pressure, the county supervisors, they stated that, we are willing to do the audit, but the audit firm has to be hired by us. So the county said they administered all those election, but they said that they wanted to, they have to hire their own auditors to audit those machines and ballots.
Yeah, can I just insert a comment?
Mm-hmm, sure.
That would like you use your right hand to monitor your left hand.
Right.
Who's going to say yes?
Yeah, so of course, the state senate just rejected such proposal. And during the course, actually, it comes to the point that actually the state legislatures almost passed a resolution to arrest those
supervisors.
Yeah, of course it didn't pass, just by a little bit of
a little short.
Yeah, a little short of the votes. So finally, until February 26th, the judge formally ruled that the Arizona Senate has oversight power over the Maricopa County's election. And it ordered Maricopa County must provide the state Senate with approximately the 2.1 million ballots and for the November 3rd election. And also they should allow the Senate to access to all those voting machines, software, etc. And the state senator, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, they all just emphasize that the audit has to be very, complete, very, like it's the forensic audit. It's not just the counting the ballots, these type of things. And also the Speaker of the Senate, Karen Fann, stated that the purpose for this forensic audit is to really ensure the integrity of the last year's election. Instead of trying to overthrow the election result. All right, so there we come to end of March 31st, the Arizona Senate officially announced that they have hired 4 outside firms to do this audit. So among them, they are all out-of-state companies, which makes sense. They wanted to try to make sure, the audit is independent, right? So the 4 companies include Wake Technology Services, CY Fire LLC, Digital Discovery, and Cyber Ninja Inc. This Cyber Ninja is from Florida, and it's the focal point right now. So, and yesterday, April 22nd, so the voting machines and the ballots were transferred from the county to the to the Arizona Veteran Memorial Coliseum at the state fairgrounds. Why they have to be transported? Because the county supervisor they rejected to have the audit held in the county. So the state senate had no choice, have to rent this place for this audit. And they supposedly, they're also providing like the live broadcast of the whole audit. And it's there's a website called azaudit.org, and anyone who care about this audit can just view it live. And so they set up 9 cameras. You can see on the screen, right?
You can actually go to the website, right? This is the live coverage.
Yes, it's audit azaudit.org. It's running right now, actually. Yeah. But however, here's the term. Yesterday, while they transported those voting machine and the ballots, the county, the Democrats in the county, they actually filed a lawsuit to try to stop this audit.
And what's that lawsuit based upon?
Right. So the reason they're saying is that they have concerns of the firms being hired to do the audit. For example, the Cyber Ninja. It's a private firm, but they said they have no experience auditing the ballots, and they were questioning the CEO of the company, saying he, expressed he's biased because he believed last year's election is being stolen, things like that, and so in turn that they believe that the Senate Republican leader failed to fulfill its promise to maintain the vote secrecy and voter privacy, okay, which they promised, but they don't really provide much evidence to use the quote. So then earlier today, the Maricopa County High Court judge, his name is Chris Corey, ordered a halt of the audit. He's saying it's temporary, but the audit has to be stopped at 5 p.m. today until noon next Monday. And everybody just thought, it has to be hot. However, he has a prerequisite is that Arizona Democrats has to post $1 million bond to cover any expenses that the Senate wrongfully incurred due to the delay of the audit. However, the Arizona Democratic Party, they later came out and made a statement saying that they refused to pay this $1 million. So then that's it. The audit continues as it scheduled.
Yeah. So basically, the audit will be expected to be finished within 6 weeks.
Right. Because the Senate rent this Coliseum. The ending date is May 14th.
And as of now, and the Democrat has sent 73 attorneys from one law firm to Arizona, try to stop this this audit.
73 lawyers.
Yeah, and President Trump issued two statements today, and I just read. Let me read just some of them, some of the content. President Trump said the Democrats are desperate for the fraud to remain concealed because, when revealed, the great states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, New Hampshire, and the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will be forced to complete the work already started. He said the Arizona recount and examination will be on live TV, OAN, for all to watch. Why the Democrats so desperate to stop the election fraud from being revealed? The answer is obvious. And he went on, he said, the Democrats understand voter fraud far better than anyone. And this could be fraud seen at a very high level. Don't think Arizona is the only state. Much more to come. Okay, so what do you think? Basically, the whole nation is zooming in, and with all the how many video cameras there, just covering the entire stadium, right?
Yeah, the 9 cameras.
Yeah, I personally, I do think that's really the best scenario. Having the most transparency, the most openness. The more open it is, the harder it is to hide something or do something indecent. So it have to come to this step where everything is exposed there, and I think that's very good. In terms of the general situation, I think we may have dived in a little too deep. Just look at this. Just look at the big picture, right? The common sense kind of a question. Ask ourselves: the election has been controversy, right? There's no question about that. Many people don't agree with that. President Trump does not accept the result. 300 or 400 people went to the Capitol on January 6th. They don't accept it. Tens of millions of people don't accept it. So when there is such a controversy, what would happen? What is the solution? The truth, right? The facts. The Democrats should be as eager as Republicans, to audit this election, right? Making sure everything's, just square and just truthful, and then so that they can basically just dispel this controversy. That shall be their motivation. When they don't do that, they should be as eager as conservatives in auditing this ballots, right? Don't you think? That's basically common sense assessment. When they send 73 attorneys, think about that. How much money does the attorney cost? $400, $500 an hour, not a day, right? An hour. Mm-hmm. When they send so many people over there, and then that kind of giant scale, huge money involved to stop an audit from happening, they should be as eager, right? Because that's how they gain their recognition. See, it's a fair and a square election. We want to audit this too. That shall be their answer. They don't. Not just they don't. They censor accounts on the Twitter who talk about this issue, and on YouTube, the very video you are watching is running the risk of being censored too. We cannot talk about this because of what? Why? Why they disallow people to even talk about this? When there's truth, the best way is to find out the fact, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a common sense.
And then and then dispel any doubt, any concern. But they are not doing that. When I was in China before we come, that I really admire America for one reason, okay? Because they do take this this sentence as the cornerstone of the American political view, which is I do not agree with your point of view, but I would defend your rights. Your right with my life, right? So that was what we knew as America. Now this they know. They shut people off YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, and now here, okay, at this stadium, they just don't want the other voice to come through. If what they think is right, why do they do so? They just say, come on over, let's audit this thing. If the fourth company is not good, let's find another 10 companies. Let's audit this out. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we all know what's the reason. And then that's why the country is zooming in and they're watching. Good people should be watched what's happening in the next 6 weeks and see what would happen. And it could be the first of the domino cards, right? And we'll see what will happen. So what do you think? What do you think? I want to hear from you. And they are still calling for volunteers, right?
Yeah. So yeah, people who are concerned, should just do whatever you can. And what do you think? What do you think things should be done in this process?
Yeah, Scott, thank you. I may not agree with what you said, but I will defend to the death your right to say
exactly.
it. Exactly. Yeah, this shall be what Democrats' word. They should say, I don't agree with what you said. We don't think there's fraud, but I will defend you, to the death. That your right to say it may be problematic. Let's resolve this. No, it's just violate the very, very common sense that we have, and we know that cannot help leading us to the questions: what happened in this county? Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Okay. Kathy.
All right. So we know that they named April 22nd is the Earth Day, and there's this virtual global climate summit hosted by President Joe Biden from April 22nd to 23rd, 2 days. And 40 world leaders attended, including China's CCP's Xi Jinping. Biden and Xi Jinping, they all made some promise at the summit. So let's take a look. Biden promised to reduce carbon emission in United States by 50% to 52% by 2030. And he also promised that the annual public climate development funding will be provided to developing countries will be doubled by 2024, in 3 years. So what did Xi Jinping promise? Actually, Xi Jinping didn't really make any new commitments. He just reiterated the goal proposed in 2020, last year, that China will achieve carbon emission neutrality by 2060. And he also reiterated that China will increase its carbon emission in the next 10 years and will work hard to reach the peak of carbon dioxide emissions by 2030. So the same targeting year 2030, but in the United States, Biden promised to cut the emission by at least half. But Xi Jinping said we'll still continue to increase the emission to its peak. And he also just, urging United States to do more, reduce the emission. But actually, United States has been reducing its emission and with other Western countries. So we all know that according to Union of Concerned Scientists, China has been the number one, is the largest source of carbon emission, and the United States is number two, but actually it's only half of what China emits. And also, Xi Jinping also in the summit used his time to promote the One Belt, One Road initiative. And now, I don't know if you know that he has changed the name to Green One Belt, One Road. Sounds familiar? And he's saying that this global initiative will solve the climate problem. And so he really knows how to talk to people in the United States, some people in the United States. And so how do you think about this? And he also talked something about we need to work on the basis of international laws, follow the principle of fairness and justice to reach social fairness and justice. It needs to be achieved in this process of a green transition. So those words really, fit into the political correctness in the United States, what's going on right now.
Yeah, it looks like, Biden and Xi Jinping are very serious, in their commitment to climate change and protect our our Earth, right?
But
And
in
you remember,
different directions.
yeah, and remember in the March last year, 2019, when Biden was running, for president with his agenda, one of the agendas on this, Green New Deal and the climate change and so on and so forth. AOC said this. He said, I try to read this back to you, and she was really, really worried. He said, I doubt even we still need to have children, okay, right? I think, as it does lead, I think young people to have a legitimate question, is okay to still have children. So it's really, really dangerous.
Very urgent as well.
Yeah, our Earth is very dangerous. Now, in this kind of seriousness, Xi Jinping said our carbon emission will peak at 2030. After that, originally the Paris Agreement saying that Paris Accord saying that they're gonna go down, and Xi Jinping did not deliver, repeat that promise yesterday. Okay, but he does said he will peak. He will peak. What does it mean? Peak mean? Peak means go up, right? Peak by 2030. So this raises a very, very simple question: if climate change is so urgent, is so important, why did Xi Jinping still want to, ramp it up until 2030 and go down, right? It's just like we all agree that killing people is wrong, right? And so basically the logic is this, of course, you Western world has emit enough carbon, so it's our share. We need to have our fair share. In a normal kind of business dealing, it's understandable. But now it's the life and death of our Earth, right? It's our livelihood. And then he's saying that you emit enough, let me do it until 2030, until I peaked. And China is the 28% of the whole emission. So they are the largest, by far the largest one. And Obama allowed him to do that. And Biden allowed him again. Is that ridiculous? Let's take another political, correctness example. Just like slave, right? It's wrong to have slaves. We all agree. Okay, now you Westerners, you just, use slave for, so many years. We all agree slave is evil, right? Slavery is evil. Let us do that another nine years before we cut down the slavery. Does that make sense? It's just not, the logic does not click together, right? If it's so bad, if it's so urgent, we're so serious, let me peak until 2030. What does it stop Xi Jinping, from just cutting it now? It will hurt his economy a little bit, right? That's apparently more important than the Earth.
But he is so righteous, right?
And yeah.
What did he say? He said that we need to ensure that there is a good environment to support sustainable economies and social development all over the world. We must be committed to systematic governance.
Yeah.
So he sounds just so righteous.
So righteous, but he's going to keep emit carbon, and until 2030, we'll peak it out there as the largest polluter of the Earth. So apparently, you guys all know, right? It's just hypocrisy. There's no logic there, and we all understand this is CCP. This is Xi Jinping. We have nothing. We don't want to say any flattery word to him. He's just a systematic liar, right? He's a systematic liar. There's nothing surprising about that. But my question is, why did Obama take it, and why did Biden take it? Take such obvious, simple, even stupid lies.
Yeah, and actually Xi Jinping thanked the United States for organizing this summit because his arrival, quote unquote, seems to weaken the role that the United States can play in the climate challenge. And in the same time, the CCP's mouthpiece, called the Global Times, on its newspaper, it regards Xi Jinping's attendance at this climate summit as a challenge to Biden and a challenge to the world's largest power, the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then another Asian summit is in the, shall we move on? Mm-hmm. About Boao, right? It's called Boao Luntan. It's the English name is called Boao. Boao is a town in the southern China. Boao Forum for Asia is a 29 country summit type of thing. Annually, they talk about economic and political and environmental issues of facing the world and Asia and so on and so forth. So Xi Jinping said something in that forum So let me see what he said. He said, no matter how powerful, how much China developed, we will never. Okay, Kathy, you have the
Oh,
original?
yeah. He said, no matter how far China develops, China will never seek hegemony. And no matter, and China will never seek hegemony, never seek for expansion and the sphere of influence or arm race. He said he would never do that.
Yeah, that's really just upset a lot of people. I saw enough comment from Chinese language world, like Chinese community, like Taiwan. A couple of commentators from Taiwan, they did some comment last night. They were really mad. They said, how can a leader of an entire nation, and it's just telling lies just like that?
And they forgot how they dealt with Taiwan and Hong Kong.
Yeah, and he said Xi Jinping also in the Boao Forum he said the fate of the world should be controlled by many countries, cannot be just one or few. But the rule of one country or a few country cannot be defined by the unilateralism of a certain country. So the Taiwan commentator said, yeah, of course he's speaking that to America. How about you yourself? How did you decide the fate of Hong Kong and Taiwan now? You try to do that, and in the Southeast Asia. So they were just really, really, upset about how can a world leader he is seeking hegemony, right? Hegemony. Yeah, he is expanding his territory, his control and everything, and he still say, we will never seek that. We'll never seek that. So, but as someone who lived through communism, come from China, we know that very, very easily. Lying, systematic lying, is the way of life for any communism, because communism, as is not the same as any tyranny in the history of mankind. Okay, they are tyrant. They just pure tyrant. They talk tyrant. They act tyrant, but communism they are not. They act tyrant, but they speak beautifully. Lie is always the important cover for communism. And for that, they also control the propaganda machine, they control the media, so that they can always make that lie go a good distance. So that's why people always still come back to trust them, and then until next time.
It's very unfortunate. In China, they've been through, people just been through so many so-called political movements, and it's just really because of they believed in the lies of CCP.
Yeah.
Every time they thought, they learned a lesson, it's going to get better, but they went through those persecution again and again. So that's a lesson to learn. So in our Chinese program, just share with you, in our Chinese program, we really empathetically, we told our audience that please, always remember this. There's a very famous writer in Hong Kong. His name is Ni Kuang. He said this. He said, how could you, this is his original word, how could you possibly believe what Communist Party says? Yeah. It's a very, very famous, a lot of Chinese people will read a prolific writer. And so there's a commentary, it's called 9 Commentaries of Chinese Communist Party. 9 Commentary of the Chinese Communist Party. I don't know whether our DJ can show it. Yeah, this is the Chinese language, if you can find the English one by any chance. So this is a commentary written by Epoch Times, the editorial board. And in the chapter 2, it says this, okay? I just want to read it to you because it's just, the utter truth that we should all remember. He said, the lesson that history taught us is this: any promise by the Communist Party cannot be believed. Any guaranteed they cannot live up to. If you believe in communism on any issue, you will lose your life on that issue. And that's just a simple truth, the brutal truth that we'll walk through, we've seen in the last 100 years. Anyway, so it's a special evil, and it has crept into the America, and then now it's just manifest in another form, in the form of liberal and liberals, progressive, or whatever. They just dare not call their communism because that's a bad name. But they're still there, they're breathing, they're kicking, they're active. It take a lot of good people and take the truth to defeat them.
That's what I want to say. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So joke of the day.
Joke of the day. Yeah, I was thinking about what I should talk about because there are not thousands of communism joke. Anyway, but in Democrat they sent 73 attorneys, right, lawyers to the Maricopa County. So I'm just thinking about maybe we can talk about something about that. Anyway, so in a grade school, right? In a grade school, little kids they just finish their preschool. They start to in their first grade or second grade, something like that. So the teacher was trying to teach those little kids. So Tim, so what do your mother do? Tim said, my mother is a doctor. Wow, great, Tim. Okay, you answered very well. Now, Amy. So what do your father do? My father is a mailman. Good job. Hi, Amy. Good job. Now, Billy. So what do your father do? My father is a thief. He's a liar and he's a murderer.
Whoa.
Wow. Gosh.
Wow.
The school teacher was really startled. So, she just divert the topic to other things and then talk about other things. But after the schoolwork and she become concerned, so she just visit, have a home visit of the family. He knock over the door, and the father, receive her and seems to be very courteous, and so the teacher came and shared her concern. So your son Billy said this: my father is a liar, is a thief, and is a murderer. So why did he say that? Well, okay, the father just shrugged and say, I'm a lawyer. How can I tell? But how can I explain that to a 7-year-old? It's an English joke. I think many of you know that, but just let's remind ourselves. But there may be attorneys,
there are good
good lawyers
that.
in our audience. I don't want to offend you. That's a great lawyer, many great lawyers. Okay, some of lawyers are like that. Anyway, just make it a little, light spirited, and hope you have, hope you enjoy it, and thank you for staying with us. Really, we know that our audience is shrinking because of the, YouTube's their work, but we're here, and we're here for the long run, and we do want to regrow the channel and regrow our audience so that our media can fulfill the function of a media. And thank you for staying with us. Really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
And
And
we'll
keep up
see
your
you.
hope. You are watching Sound of Hope.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.